Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of me rambling about WoW. Today we are joined on my little rogue, who will be pickpocketing the living shit out of the orcs nearby, because I need it for my weekly quest for pickpocketing, because I like my money. So, what are we going to bitch about today? Well, the answer is quite simple. World difficulty, and by that I also will include some dungeons. And, well, maybe not raid. Actually, yeah, LFR, I guess. I will bitch about LFR a bit. So, let's start with what exactly is the issue. So, in many cases, the mobs and the quests are just way too easy. They feel just dumb and boring. There is nothing really into it. I mean, there's no challenge, there is no satisfaction of actually doing it. The only thing that you may consider the quest being actually fun is the reward. As in some nice transmog or some actual reasonable piece of gear. And no, I will not yap about world quests. Hello. Oh, I have killed you already, apparently. So, let us begin. First off, let me make a comparison while we are here. This mob is a level 100. She has 9.3k health. My level 63 or 64 hunter already has a little bit over 5k. And she's doing TBC content. So, yeah. You can imagine how much this is not gonna be a problem. But let's move on. This is pretty much all around until, like, I guess everything pre-Warlords, with the exception of group quests that are specifically marked as a group quest, that being, you know, the 3 or 5 person quest that you can see on some rare occasions. But then again, if you have looms, you can solo them quite easily, especially if you are a tank. So, simple solution here. Make mobs hit harder and give them some mechanics that, if failed, let's say a simple interrupt, would cause a massive amount of damage. For example, let's say an equivalent of half of the amount of health that a tank would have, or a normal player. If you fail to move, if you fail to interrupt, you get massive damage, you get punished for that. This way it would keep the game at least somewhat more interesting, and it would be lovely if it also worked against pets. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing against pet user classes. I mean, a Demo Warlock is one of my favorite classes for quite a while, so I like my demons. But yeah, other things are just, well, stealthies, for example. As you can see, I am roaming quite freely. Mobs with detection are rare, and they are not really that threatening. I mean, a simple sap or blind, and poof, they're gone. You don't have to worry about them. Flying is another issue. There is literally no threat. Well, I'm saying no threat. Only a handful of zones have any kind of a aerial threat to the player. He can hover over the area freely. There's no wildlife that would attack him. There is no enemy faction snipers or whatever trying to shoot you down. There is literally no threat whatsoever. The only exception are TBC zones, and I guess this zone over here, where around the docks you can see some of the Rylax flying, but still they are slow and their aggro range is so short that it's not really an issue. And trust me, I know, because I was playing this while Warlords was a thing. But yeah, let's continue. Healers. As much as I enjoy playing my Holy Priest, the mobs can't really do much against me healing. They don't interrupt, they don't stun. Well, some of them stun, but that's also a rarity. And usually it's just some bigger end quest mob or something like that. And yeah, this trend continues until like Warlord 3, where most of the content is just face rollable. You don't even need any kind of a good gear to do most of the stuff. I mean, for the love of goodness, in the few last months of Warlords, people, including my little Guardian Druid, were soloing Kazakh, which is the world boss that's over here. Besides that, let's talk about dungeons. And as much as I do enjoy dungeons as well, because well, first things first, I hate LFG and LFR, but I like doing dungeons. Doesn't matter if with friends or with some random people I encounter on the way. I do, but they are way too easy. Anything that is not heroic content in all the expansions so far, well, I guess with the exception of Cataclysm, which had its dungeons spot on until the nerfs. But yeah, dungeons are really just meh. Even the heroic ones right now. It's very often to see a DPS that has around between normal and heroic Dazar Allure gear. Can just go DPS, he will keep aggro fine, and well, I say fine, most of the time fine, and there will be no threat to the group really. The aggro he makes and the damage he does is gonna just phase her. Oh, I screwed up here. I thought I'm gonna sap him. But yeah, that's one of the things that bothers me for quite a while, because I am one of those people who rarely, but still, I was curious to check it out. I queued up as a tank while being feral, which meant... Okay, why did I do that? Which meant that I just queued up as a tank, went kitty, everything was fantastic. And if I lost aggro, I just turned back into the bear and taunted quickly. And that's pretty much it. Shut up, phone! And yeah, there should be some kind of a mechanic that is like directed towards tanks. So, for example, let's say that there are mechanics that if you don't have X amount of mitigation or armor, the maps will just start crushing you. And yes, crushing damage was a thing in the past. I'm not sure if it is anymore because nobody really cares. But yeah. Okay, don't screw this up. Thank you. Now, let's continue. The low-level dungeons, goodness gracious, they are... If you have one Lumi, for example, in a team, that Lumi will just steam through the whole dungeon. This is not good. Dungeons should feel fun, rewarding, and epic. And currently they are just rewarding. Well, for the most part at least. I mean, dungeons need to have fun back into them. I'm not calling out for removing all of LFG because I don't think the community is ready for that. That's also one of the things that may cause the classic client to have a few issues when it comes to the engineering and all of that jazz. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just make dungeons harder, make mechanics that punish non-tanks queuing for tanking, or just force a role to actually, you know, enforce you to do something within the role you have selected. Like in Battlegrounds, if you queue up as a healer, you cannot turn your spec into DPS. If you sign up as a tank, you cannot respec into DPS. That's how it should be. On the other hand, if you are a DPS, you should still be able to change your spec to either healer or tank, because, well, let's be honest, sometimes people want to actually win. So, yeah. Now, LFR. Oh, goodness gracious, I have done lately LFR on my priest, the Ataldazor LFR. And it is very, very disappointing. The mechanics that are on normal, for example, Dracaan, they are negligible. You can just simply ignore every single bit of mechanic and you'll be fine. The only thing that I found that almost wiped the group was the flames. Everything else, face roll. I mean, for the love of God, the tanks, the entirety of the group was very low geared, like, I don't know, maybe heroic dungeon quality geared. And people were ignoring every single bit of mechanic until the flames arrived. We were fine, I barely had to heal anybody. This is bad. If something is too easy, it's not fun. And considering that people already are getting pissed about LFR being what it is, you can imagine how this may cause many issues. And again, I am not calling in this video to remove LFR, which probably would help quite a bit, but tune it up. You definitely need to tune it up, because there is no risk whatsoever to the players. That's no fun. Plus, considering how big the rewards are, it's definitely not good. I mean, look at Warlord's LFR. It, for the most part, when the patch was current, like for example Blackrock Foundry, it was quite challenging. It was fun. It wasn't overwhelming, but it still required the players to actually, well, have some basic brain activity going. As of right now, and in most of Uldir, it was, well, let's just say it was damn stupid. Legion also was, well, for the most part, it was okay, but Emerald Nightmare, for example, when you fought enemies like Scenarios, whenever he used his thorns, aka deal damage back to enemies that attack you, people died. At the first, like, few months of that wing available, people died because they were Mongoloids, and they deserved to die. That's how they learned, or at least most of them learned. They became better as players. They also were happy to actually defeat the boss. That's not a thing here. You just go in, maybe you play, and you get loot. That's not good. And again, there are situations where overgeared DPS just queues in as a tank and screws the entire group because he can't hold aggro for them. Again, enforce roles. The DPS ones can have like those fluid roles, so you can just switch to healer or tank, but tanks and healers should not be able to switch to DPS. If you queue up as a healer, you are going to heal that dungeon, you will heal that raid. And again, make mechanics work on LFR properly. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all remember that one boss, right? Where the entire phase of fighting the actual boss is gone. And just not to lie to you, I'm gonna quickly have a scoop what his name was. Legion. Antorus. No, it wasn't Antorus. Or was it? Ah, it was. No, wait, no, it wasn't Antorus. It was the Tomb of Sargeras. There we go. Ah, the Desolate Host, that was its name. So, this is how the boss looks. Oh well, this is the engine rather, that is visible for the people outside of the Shadow Realm, whatever it was, in which people faced her. And this is the actual boss, which, fun fact, on LFR did not appear. The entire phase of fighting him was cut out. Why? That's stupid. This is not something you should do. You want people to learn, to encourage them to move to normal. Or hell, even heroic. I mean, how those people are supposed to learn anything, right? If they just can face roll everything, they can AFK and get rewarded. That's not something that should be happening in an MMORPG. In any kind of an MMO game, any multiplayer game. You want to encourage the player to do stuff, to learn. That's why mechanics, stats, and all of that jazz are important in a game. You cannot just dump down things to oblivion and just go like, it's for those people that don't care, they just want to visit the place. That's dumb. This is an MMO role-playing game. Your character needs to actually progress as well. Not only through leveling or gearing, but also as a character. I mean, right now we are all called heroes, champions, commanders, and all that jazz. We, for the most part, do not even deserve it. It's like, whereas in the past you were just an adventurer for the most part, and maybe a hero after you got like level 50 or 60 content done. But before that you were just an adventurer, you were just a typical soldier. And now, level 5, level 6, you're a hero! You're a hero, Harry! That's not good design, this needs to change if the game is gonna attract people. Because right now it's doing the opposite for the most part. It needs to evolve, it needs to be harder. People don't like doing stuff that is too easy. I mean, goodness gracious, why do you think Dark Souls is so popular still? Well, all the Souls games really. Because they are difficult, they give you the feeling of accomplishment, the feeling of, hey, I have beaten this obstacle and I got rewarded for it, yeah! While over here it's just like, oh, I beaten this trash, I got some loot that I'm gonna exchange in a few days, yay! I mean, I'm not ditching heroic or mythic progression. No, those are for the most part okay. I'm not gonna again bitch on those. I myself am in a semi-casual guild that is currently progressing in heroic and I'm having a blast. It is challenging, it is requiring people to actually think what they are doing, to have personal responsibilities. That's great. It feels amazing. And most of my guildies can also say the same thing. They enjoy raiding. Just because it is not trivial. And yeah. I'm not gonna bitch about PvP because, well, PvP is a completely different fish in this barrel. And, well, for the most part I am happy with it. I just hoped the scaling system that they were implementing was gonna affect lower level players as well. But it's not really that great. So, whereas I was hoping to actually get level 20s to at least stand their ground for a few seconds against a maxed out level 120, they just get trampled either way. But yeah, I think I rambled long enough about this topic. What are your thoughts? What do you think about this whole thing? Do you like being fed on a golden platter with stuff that you did not deserve? Or do you enjoy it? Leave a comment down below. And as always, if you did enjoy this video, if you did enjoy me rambling like a moron, feel free to subscribe, because there will be more of those things coming soon. And I will see you, as always, in the next video, which may not necessarily be rambling, but oh well, up to you, eh? Anyways, I'll see you then. Bye!